problem, and what I will explain about what the data analysis is hand in hand. Basically, the data is collected by the organizations. A vast amount of data is collected in everyday life. That data in majority of the time just sits there doing nothing, zero, kaput. How you then tackle this data is by manipulating that data, transforming that data, manipulating it, and then putting it into some sort of legible format and possibly interactive format. When I say interactive, I mean beyond what we used to use Excel, charts and graphs. They were static. Now you can have interactive reports through tools like Power BI. I will be discussing tools like the Power BI business intelligence tools later on in the vlogs. But for now, it's suffice to say that interactive reports can be done in Power BI, which is a Microsoft product. And finally, those are the tools that will help you set up simple examples of exactly where your organization is, where it can be, and where it can go. I hope that's enough for now. What is data analysis? Data analysis is basically extracting, transforming, and loading data. ETL is the process. That's what it's called. You will hear that term being used and abused throughout your working career within the data analysis remit, or even if you're working with slightly lesser role of a data analyst. Basically, a lot of data sits in layman's term, a lot of data sits most of the time just sits in an organization doing nothing, and the organization isn't making use of it. With data analytics, you can get to the bottom of the problems, the problem of how, for example, we can retain a customer base, what we can do to improve our services. It's all in there within the data. We just have to tap into the data and look for the patterns, and those are the patterns that you can do, and then you can make data-driven choices. And you can simplify the data by visualizing that data. So for example, recently I visualized a map with heat spots of where certain customers were going for their vegetarian food, and which branches of a particular food outlet were being used for example, certain takeout campaigns. But more about the tools and the kind of visualizations we can do later on in the free training courses that will be coming up. Thank you for watching. As I stated earlier, data analysis helps make informed choices, data-driven choices. I've got 20 years, more than 20 years experience of actual data manipulation, data visualization in one form or another. The vast amount of data contains a lot of redundancies and a lot of dirty data, so to speak, depending on historically models were used, database models, Excel sheets, even Word documents were used, and there is a lot of data redundancy. So you as a business analyst have to do, and I'm going to go back to the reference of ETL, you have to do the ETL no matter what. ETL is how you are going to actually create data analytics data sets, and those data sets are going to be then consumed by business intelligence tools like Tableau, Power BI, more about those tools later on as we progress through these presentations. Here is just an example of how a data set can actually help, data analytics can help. This is a coffee shop representing, for example, sales of data table, sales trend graph, customer purchase heat map, i.e. what kind of purchases and what times these were done by the customers. You can also go further, delve deeper into things. You don't just have to go for the timings. You can go in terms of what kind of products they ordered, which areas they prefer to sit in, near the window, outside, inside, what kind of take-up was done with promotions, which customer base, what age range preferred what kind of take-up campaign. And that's all pure data analytics. Data analytics is a science in itself. You don't need qualifications for it, no matter what anybody tells you. But what you do need is an aptitude for mathematics, logic, and elbow grease. If you don't know what elbow grease is, check it out. My preferred method of using tools for data analytics are the actual business intelligence tools. Some tools you may have heard of, some you may not have heard of. Drop it in the comments below to let me know which tools you're familiar with, which tools you're not familiar with. I will just choose 2 or 3 tools to put to you now. Excel, I think majority of you will be familiar with. Excel, Microsoft Excel is quite a comprehensive tool. You can use macros. Macros is basically a programmed set. In the background is Visual Basic that uses a way a macro is automatically recorded, so you don't have to do any programming. So it's for non-programmers. But if you know Visual Basic, like I do, then you can actually manipulate the macro itself as well, or create it from scratch with Visual Basic. It's a comprehensive tool, but as stated earlier on in my presentation, that tool is limited in terms of you will still see static data especially in the graphs and the charts. You will see static data. It's not interactive. Then we move on to Python. Python can be used to manipulate the data. It can be used to create reports. It can be used to automate reports. It can be used for querying data. It's a language in itself, and it's an excellent language for business intelligence, data analytics. And by the way, I will be discussing in the future about the AI models that use Python and how you can use Python for AI. But right now, the remit is data analysis. And finally, Power BI or Tableau. You can use either. And there are other business intelligence tools, but Power BI I will discuss for here and for ease of use for people who are familiar with Microsoft products. More about Power BI later, but basically what it does is it can query a whole host of data sets, from Excel to APIs to Oracle databases, and give you interactive reports.